So hello and welcome to the sixth round of the Dynamic Racing League 2020. Last time out it was in Holland, in the Netherlands, where Matt took the win again, even though it was a pretty spicy race caused by Alpmutke hitting Matt in the back on lap 6. So they both had to fight the rest of the grid. Alpmutke was stuck in 7th place for most of the race, while Matt was able to take the win again, overtaking Jimmy James and Lucas LA. It also has to be said that Alpmutke was forced to pit and have his front wing changed from getting damaged by hitting Matt in the back, while Matt was able to carry on. But the main surprise this weekend is that M. Yates is back to racing, and he already makes a mistake. He went off track but saved the car, so M. Yates can continue. This is what happens when you haven't been racing for so long. Now Papa Whiskey all over his back on the outlap, but Papa Whiskey decides wisely to slow down and take a distance so they can both start their laps with no issues. So M. Yates already locks up, so he is driving without assists bravely. So M. Yates on the main straight starts his qualifying lap. He deserves a little attention for being back after so long. And of course a reminder that M. Yates is a two-time Dynamic Racing League champion. He won the league in 2015 and 2016. He started off with some difficulty. He was nowhere near me and Owen, but with practice he managed to take it to us sometimes and be pretty close most of the time. So M. Yates approaching the final sector of Catalonia, last chicane, clean line. So M. Yates on the main straight, of course he will be in P1 as he is the first driver to complete a lap 1:16.9. Papa Whiskey in third. Alpmutke was close to M. Yates on track, so he completed his lap right after M. Yates, and Alpmutke takes first place, and M. Yates went down in second. But M. Yates was on medium tires, so M. Yates on medium tires. And we also have Matt on track, and it's a qualifying a hot lap because there is no out lap on screen. Matt had oversteer, and he decided to drive back to the pits, so he probably felt it wasn't a decent lap. Crossydale goes up in third place with his Ferrari, and on medium tires. So Alpmutke, M. Yates, Crossydale, Graham, Papa Whiskey. Matt went back to the pits after he nearly lost control of his car on the last chicane. Now Hughes moves, leaving the pits and being annoyed by a car on track. in the pit lane. So 12 minutes left. Lucas took first place and bettered Alpumutke's lap time, so Lucas in the lead at the moment. Let's turn on the minimap. So Lucas, Alpumutke, M. Yates, Crossydales, Graham, Papa Whiskey, Scaife. Most of the drivers have yet to complete a lap. Orb King is still in the pits, Jimmy James, and so is Jimmy James, Matt, Hughes Moose on his out lap, Liverpool in 8th place, still in the pits. Hughes Moves kind of misses the apex but completes his qualifying lap. Let's see his result. No, it was an out lap, or he had his lap time invalidated. I didn't notice whether it was an out lap on screen. So Hughes Moves on a qualifying lap. It's pretty easy to have your lap invalidated on this track, because the track limits are kind of weird. You just hit the curb and sometimes you have your lap invalidated, so we will also have to pay attention to likely penalties in the race. Hughes Moves is really struggling with his car. It looks like some lap from the 80s. He drives like Lance Stroll on his first season in F1, where he fought the steering wheel so harshly. So Hughes Moves approaches the final chicane. Look at that car control. No, Hughes Moves drives back to the pits, so 2 laps and no lap time. 10 minutes left. But thanks for giving us an 80 style of driving. Alpumutke on track again with medium tires. So Alpumutke on his qualifying lap, medium tires, but like most of the time he can decide to switch to soft tires later in qualifying. So let's see what his lap time is at the end of this lap, but it probably won't be the final result. Alpumutke in the final sector, still in second place after Lucas bettered his lap time. So Alpumutke in the third sector. Let's see if this lap time will be enough to take first place for the moment. Alpumutke on the main straight, and yes it is. Alpumutke up in first place again on medium tires again. So Alpumutke, Lucas and M. Yates still in third place. So debut, so comeback looking pretty good for the moment. Matt approaching the final sector. He kind of missed the apex. Matt on the final straight. And Matt, no, Matt does not better Alpumutke's lap time, so Matt in second place and Alpumutke still in first place. So Alpumutke, Matt completed his lap. He kind of missed the apex, but I don't think he lost 2-3 tenths there, so Alpumutke was quicker overall. Jayor in third place. There is only 10 seconds left in the session, so Matt won't have the chance to start another lap because time has expired. Alpamut K is on pole again for the moment, so Matt needs to put the lap together. Matt in the final chicane, he can't make mistakes because he won't have another chance. Matt on the final straight, let's see his lap time. Matt at the very last second takes pole position from Alpamut K. So at the very last second, Matt was cold-blooded and he didn't make any mistakes, and at the very last second Matt took pole when he didn't have any other chance left. So time has expired. Alpamut K is in the pits. Orb King in the meanwhile went up in third place. So Matt, Alpamut K, Orb King, Jimmy James in the pits, Jayor, Danny and Lucas have retired. The rest have got checkered the flag. So Papa Whiskey, we saw him a few seconds ago deciding to drive back to the pits. So this is the final result, and Matt is on pole. Matt is on pole. So this is the final result. No one can improve anymore. Everyone is either in the pits or has got checkered the flag. Drivers going right and left as much as they can to keep the tires in the right temperature. Matt and Alpamut K in the end didn't decide to switch to soft tires in qualifying, so they will be starting on medium tires. Formation lap almost completed. Matt, unless Matt falls asleep at the start while waiting, he won't lose any position because Alpamut K is never a thunder at the start. So lights out and away we go. Matt keeps the lead. Matt keeps the lead. There is a piece of a car flying. I wasn't able to. Oh, there is a collision in the middle of the group. M. Yates spun, but likely he isn't out of the race. So M. Yates spun, but didn't have any serious damage, just a broken front wing. So I expect him to pit on the first lap. Another collision, Crossy Dale and Nick Van Gelder with the other Alfa Romeo. So the two Alfa Romeo drivers in trouble at the start. Now also, who was that? M. Yates spun again. A lot of troubles for Alfa Romeo drivers at the start. So first lap, we already have a driver in the pits, like most of the time. It's Lucas this time, having his front wing changed. He switched, I guess, he switched to hard tires to try to get to the end. The two Alfa Romeo drivers wheel to wheel. Now Lucas, safety car deployed. So Spike, yes, it was Spike against the wall at turn 1. So Spike out of the race with a broken suspension, so safety car deployed. Lucas and also M. Yates, who has to change his front wing, will benefit from this because he will be close to the group at the restart, so M. Yates can change his front wing without losing too much time. Let's see who drives back to the pits. Belt and Matt also drives back to the pits. So Belt and Matt, there will be a few drivers changing strategies. If I'm able, Belt and Matt. Then also Belt and Matt just changes his tires. So it was a strategy call. Scaife also in the pits, then M. Yates like expected, and he has to wait for his teammate to complete his pit stop, so M. Yates will be losing quite a lot of time. The mechanics have yet to start the job on M. Yates' car. Now M. Yates leaves the pits on hard tires, so M. Yates on hard tires. But like I said before, he will be able to catch up with the group. Lap 4, also Denny in the pits with his Williams, having his front wing changed and leaving a lot of drivers on hard tires. So lap 4, the safety car is in this lap. M. Yates, Matt taking a distance from the safety car. Now Matt accelerates, so Matt in the lead. Alpumutke spun, and let's see if he has damage, because he actually hit the wall. So Alpumutke now in 16th place. Alpumutke down in 16th place. I wasn't able to switch because the battery died. I was looking for the charger. So, but likely Alpumutke was close to Matt, so was right behind Matt. So I was able to see the crash on camera. Now I'm Yates in another fight with Denny. Denny loses a piece of his front wing, but M. Yates was already turning into the corner, to be fair, so I don't think he was at fault there. Alpumutke the NF Gogs virtual safety car, lap 5. So Alpumutke high, still haven't been able to understand whether Alpumutke has damage. I still haven't been able to understand whether Alpumutke has damage or not. I guess we'll see if he pits in this lap, then he had damage. But according to the minimap, Alpumutke just drove past the pit lane entry, so Alpumutke doesn't have any damage and can carry on, but now he is at the very back of the group, so it will be another uphill race for him. Lap 6 started. So now, as it stands, it's Matt and Jimmy James in second place and Orbeking in third. While Matt is getting away, is running away from the group, there is a lot of cars close to each other in the middle of the group. From 6th place, Liverpool on the inside and takes 7th place from Papa Whiskey. Also Crossy Dale close to Papa Whiskey. Belt and Matt now wheel to wheel against Crossy Dale, so a lot of mess in the middle of the group, while Matt is relaxing at the front. Now Belt and Matt went around the outside of Belt and Matt, of Crossy Dale I meant, and there is a collision. Bilton, Who was that? Burton Matt also lost a piece of his front wing, so safety car deployed. On lap 9 was caused by Crossidale crashing into the pit lane entry. He was trying to drive back to the pits and change his tires, but collided into the wall on the left hand side. So now Matt decides to have his pit stop now during safety car. So Matt in the pits. Let's see. Hard tires, like expected. Jimmy James also in the pits, so Matt now again in the lead. Orb King 2. Basically the safety car came out again when most of the drivers would have pitted anyway. Matt on hard tires, Little Paul on hard tires, Orbkin on hard tires, Jimmy James, everyone on hard tires basically. Papa Whiskey I noticed was on medium tires, Scaife on medium on hard. Most really except for a few drivers, almost everyone is on hard tires. Another lap on the safety car, but we got the warning, so race restarts now. There is no Alpamut K anymore, so Matt can just pull away from the group without issues, as his main rival is at the back of the group. Now we have Little Paul and Jimmy James fighting each other, while Matt uses benefits from this and pulls an extra gap. There was a car going off track. Now Hughes moves out of the race. Hughes moves out of the race. No need to make sure that he's fine, but such a crash would have been almost deadly in real life. But Hughes moves can get up from the chair. So Matt, Jimmy James, Orb King, Little Paul, M. Yates, Belton Matt, Jayor, Scaife, Nick Van Gelder, Alpamut K finally back in the points, thanks to the few crashes ahead of him. Alpamut K, then Lucas Graham, Papa Whiskey. Papa Whiskey was the driver involved with Hughes moves, so Papa Whiskey with almost half his front wing missing, so Papa Whiskey didn't have any other option but to pit. Race compromised unless another safety car comes out. Also a penalty. Mechanics won't change. Waited 5 seconds before touching his car. Soft tires for Papa Whiskey. Alpamut K in the meanwhile up in 6th place. Still not a good result at all, considering he is almost either on pole or in second in qualifying. Alpmut K took a risk but backed off before colliding into Nick van Gelder. Now really trying to cross lines with Nick van Gelder. Nick van Gelder defending really well. It's crazy how much time he's been behind Nick van Gelder already. It's been almost 10 laps. Alpmut K just can't find a way past Nick van Gelder. Another 10 laps. Alpmut K is starting to look, is already looking like Alonso behind Petrov at Abu Dhabi 2010. Now Lucas also had the opportunity to, and Lucas drove into, I don't think he hit Alpmut K. I think he hit Nick van Gelder. I was saying that Lucas, thanks to the battle of Alpmut K and Nick van Gelder, Lucas was also able to catch up with them. Now Lucas locking up with his front wing because he has no grip, so another driver that has to pit. Liverpool in the meanwhile thanked Lucas for the collision and went up in 7th place. So Matt in the lead since forever. Jimmy James, Jayor, Nick van Gelder, Alpmut K in 5th. Alpmut K on the grass. Alpmut K really trying anything possible to get past, and he finally does, and Nick van Gelder now trying to fight back, so Alpmut K shouldn't be safe yet because Nick van Gelder is trying to fight back. And Nick van Gelder round the outside, and Nick van Gelder not yet, wheel to wheel. Nick van Gelder now regains what he lost from Alpmut K, and Alpmut K going off track. Spawn at the restart after the safety car. Now Spawn now went off track while fighting Nick van Gelder, who also lost his place to Orbeking in the meanwhile. Final lap. Matt really didn't have any opposition this race. He just, after that Alpmut K spun at the restart like Senna at Spain in 91, Matt just didn't have any opposition. It was like a walk in the park for him. Jayor completes in 2nd place, then Jimmy James, Orbeking in the final sector. Nick van Gelder, oh, there is Liverpool retires on the last lap. So M. Yates, Scaife was lapped, so he stays in 10th place because he was lapped by Liverpool, so he won't be able to gain any position as his race is already over. Now M. Yates is going to drive past Liverpool's wrecked car. So M. Yates up in 8th position. The rest of the drivers have completed their races. M. Yates is the only driver to complete that who hasn't finished yet. So M. Yates finally on the straight, and he finally completes his race to 8th. Driver of the day according to the game is Nick van Gelder, and Matt extends his lead in the championship. Alpamut K has had another bad race. Like I typed in the chat, it looks like Alpamut K is two different people. One drives in qualifying and the other one drives in the race. So he really needs to fix his racecraft. So Matt takes the lead and extends his lead